Hey everyone, back tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at the next month. Today we've had an update from the Beijing Climate Centre. That updates every 5 days or so, so it's always worth checking back to see the latest update on that. I think it updates around the 6th, the 11th, something like that, and then the 15th, and so on through the month. So it's always worth checking back to see what the latest update is showing. Quite interesting on this one. It is indicating quite a coolish month of it actually coming up over the coming month from now through to the first week of January. So have a look at that in a moment. Also have a look at the CFS. That's updated as it always does daily for the coming month. And then we'll have a look at the chances. I'm quite interested weather at the end of the week. I'm not sure about it. I think probably it's just going to be rain, but just a suggestion. There could be a little bit of wintry weather down in the south of the country on Friday. We'll have a look at that at the end of the video. Before I get on with that, just say about the ads. There's links to articles on most pages at gaslighting.com, so have a browse through widgets. Any articles that you're interested in, just click through and read those articles. There's green keyword ads on the page. You right go, so green keywords, they do display ads. We click through the word. Go to advertise website. Thanks so much for doing that. There's yellow contextual ads, they're weather related, so click through those if there's any weather related ads that you're interested in. And Gav's shop remains open and will do so up to Christmas, so you've still got time to do your Christmas shopping at Amazon. Just click through the Amazon banners in Gav's shop and take you off to Amazon where you can do your Christmas shopping. But at the same time, because you click through from Gav's service to Amazon, we get a revenue fee on things that you're purchasing. As I've said in the other videos, that's been a huge success this year, so thanks so much to everybody for getting involved and doing that. Right, let's get on with the update from the Beijing Climate Centre. These are 500 millibar heights broken down into 10-day periods. The first 10-day period is taking us from the 11th through to the 20th of December, so through the 10 days that's coming up, and we can see on this one that I've got below average height sitting to the north and the east of the country, indicated by the blue colours. A ridge is out in the central part of the Atlantic. The jet stream is coming through something like that. We've got generally a northwesterly flow, so that's pretty cool actually through the coming 10 days. And quite unsettled as well. There could be some bouts of rain coming through with rain pack. There could even be gale force winds. There will be gale force winds on Wednesday. So cool and unsettled really sums it up for that one. Going through to the next 10-day period, it's taking us from the 21st of December through to the 30th, so almost up to the end of the year. Hints of a little bit of northern blocking there, but ridge is probably going northwards a little bit, up towards Greenland. The trough is still in there over the country, although it is weakening and shifting more towards the southeast of Europe. But overall, that could be a pretty cool pattern. Again, really going up to the end of the year, you could get more sort of northwesterly, maybe even northerly incursions coming through with that. Now I'm not sure about that because the generic charts are sort of indicating that we should get a milder push actually as we start running up towards Christmas, but maybe they're wrong and the Beijing Climate Centre might be right on that one. But it's very interesting anyway. But just hints of orange going up towards Greenland there, with the trough still in over the top of the UK. Now a bit of a change as we go through to the next 10-day period. This takes us from New Year's Eve to the 9th of January. On this one we find that we lose a lot of the ridging in the Atlantic, and we've got some sort of a trough setting in there in the central part of the Atlantic, really extending back to this very deep trough that's forming across the eastern side of the United States. So winter, it's mild at the moment in the United States, but the Beijing Climate Centre is seeing that at the end of December into the start of January, winter really returns with a vengeance for them as that trough comes into the States. And then the jet stream comes out into the Atlantic, quite a weak jet, running into the British Isles, probably dying a bit of a death as it comes in, with a ridge actually up there over Scandinavia. Now what could be happening there is that low pressure is trying to come in off the Atlantic, but it's probably coming up to some sort of area of high pressure. So that could be sort of dryish weather maybe for the start of January, and relatively cool as well, maybe some frost, but it's quite a change actually on the pattern that goes on through most of December. And then we get through to the final 10-day period. This takes us from the 10th to the 19th of January, and same as we've been seeing from the Beijing Climate Centre over several updates, hints of real northern blocking setting up there around Greenland. Got all the orange colours around Greenland and Iceland. The trough is underneath it, and you would be pulling down cold northerly, northeasterly winds with that one. So again, we're getting to January, into the heart of January, and still those indications there from the BCC that we set up that proper northern blocking up towards Greenland. The temperature anomalies for the next month are quite interesting. This is the temperature anomaly for the 11th to the 20th. We're over here on the far right hand side of the chart, of course, as you're looking at it. We're in the blue colours there, so a cool week coming up, cooler than average, or 10 days I should say. Cooler than average, 10 days coming up there, the 11th to the 20th. 21st to 30th, again, it's seeing another colder than average 10-day period. In fact, it's a little bit colder on that one, maybe up to a degree and a half there being indicated, colder than average. So that would give us a colder than average December. Once you average everything out, it is seeing cold conditions extending through to the end of the year, or at least colder than average. Things moderate a little bit, 31st to 9th, we come up towards average. That's a different one, remember, the pattern is changing quite significantly through that 10 days, first 10 days of January. Probably some sort of ridging across the country, but it's difficult to decide what is going on there. But the anomaly is coming up anyway, going towards average through that 10 days. And then we go through to the final 10 days, the 10th to the 19th, and it is going colder than average again. So overall, the Beige Climate is seeing quite a cold sort of month coming up, actually, with the anomalies tending to come out below average through most of the monthly period. So that's quite interesting. It's quite a big change on what we've had through 2014, of course. The CFS 500 millibar heights for the coming month look like this. The first week period is taking us from the 8th to the 14th of December. It's very similar to the Beijing Climate Centre. We've got the trough there in the to the north of the country and through in Scandinavia. The ridge is out in the Atlantic, so the jet stream is going through something like that on more or less a northwest southeast trajectory. Could be relatively cool and really quite unsettled through that weekly period. We go through to the 15th to the 21st, and it's all very similar, although things perhaps backing a little bit more westerly there. So instead of going northwest to southeast, we're probably going west to east, something like that. But it's relatively unsettled. It won't be particularly warm either. The winds are still backing around, or the air is still backing around towards Greenland, so not particularly warm with that one, but a little bit milder probably than the first weekly period. Get through to the 22nd of December to the 28th, and this one does turn milder. This is a change from what the Beijing Climate Centre is seeing through that final 10 days of the month. We've got the trough of low pressure there around the north and the northeast of the country, so it's almost trying to bring colder air down, but we've got this big ridge here sitting over the central part of the Mediterranean, so the effect of that would be to bring the winds in, something like that. In fact, they could even be back in a little bit southwesterly, I think, with that. So yeah, that could be a milder week around Christmas. And then we finally get through to the final weekly period, the 29th of December to the 4th of January, and quite a significant change going on there. This could just be hints of the northern blocking that the Beijing Climate Centre is picking up on, because there we have the red and orange colours all going up towards Greenland and Iceland. The trough, the green colours are elongating through central parts of Europe. That's a cold pattern evolving. The air will be coming through something like that, so we start to bring cold air in from the north and the northeast with that one, I think. So that could be agreement between the Beijing Climate Centre and the CFS this morning, that as we get through towards January, although this is a little bit earlier than the Beijing Climate Centre is seeing it, but as we get through to January, we perhaps have to start watching out for those northern blocking high pressure systems begin to develop around Greenland and Iceland and start to switch the winds into the northeast. By the way, notice this very deep trough on the east of the state. So again, the Beijing Climate Centre and the CFS in agreement, but as we get through to the latter stages of December and the start of January, winter is returning with a vengeance to much of the east of America. Very interesting charts coming up there, and overall it does look pretty chilly, really, you have to say, for the first part of the winter. It's already quite chilly, what we've had through this December so far. Only a week in, but I think we could be looking at our first below average month since August, but it's early days on that. Let's wait and see how things are. Now we've got a big storm coming up on Wednesday. This is a deep area of low pressure to the north of Scotland. It's going to batter us on Wednesday, so there could be severe gales in the north on Wednesday, and with risk of wintry showers as well. Now as we get beyond that, we've got to be watching out for a northerly to try to set up as we move through into the end of the week. This is a chart for Thursday. That deep storm is going off to Norway, but we're bringing the winds in from the west to northwest, and there's a weather front here on this kink in the isobars in the Atlantic. There's a weather front, a cold front, trying to move southeastwards. That's going to stall probably, or it could stall. Not all models are in agreement with this, but it could stall as it tries to come south with cold air following along from behind. Here's all the rainfall coming up on Thursday, so it looks like it's going to be turning quite wet across much of the country. But it's what happens as we get through to Friday that could be quite interesting. As we're moving through into Friday, we start to see this weather system coming southwards. You can see that from the allegation again in the isobars, but as it's coming southwards, it's beginning to stall, and the cold air is starting to track in from behind. So you can see on the upper air temperatures, we've got quite a big temperature gradient there. The -5 isotherm is through the many central and northern parts of the country, whereas further south we've got quite mild air, and in between there's an active weather front that's got areas of heavy rain running along it. Here's the precipitation forecast for 6 o'clock in the morning on Friday. Very wet for much of England and Wales. Now as we move on 8 hours, sorry, we go through to 6 o'clock in the evening. We move on 12 hours, sorry. We go through 6 o'clock in the evening, and we find that that front is still there in the south. It's actually forming a little area of low pressure along it. Now, this is the sort of situation that can, and I emphasize the word can, lead to snow, because as the cold air digs in, if you get a stall on the weather front and the weather front is active, then you can start to find that cold air undercutting. So let's have a look at the upper air temperatures, and you see that the cold air is moving southwards. We're gradually introducing that -5 isotherm down in towards the south of the country. The dew points are going close to freezing through most parts of the country, not in the far south and southeast, but certainly Wales and the Midlands going down to freezing with the dew points. And we've still got quite heavy rain there across the south, even at 6 o'clock in the evening. And notice this area of rain forming on that area of low pressure that's developing off the coast of Portugal. That could just threaten the south again. So I've got to be watching out for that. That's very interesting how that's developing through the course of Friday. Quite what's going on with that one. Now I'm just going to show you the precipitation type forecast from the Weather Outlook finally, just so that you can see what could happen with this. We start off on Wednesday with those wintry showers up in the northwest, going to be mainly western Scotland, northwestern parts of Northern Ireland that has the risk of the wintry showers on Wednesday. As we go through into Thursday, there's all that wet weather coming in off the Atlantic, quite a wet day through Thursday. Could be some snow on the far northern edge across southern Scotland, but elsewhere it is generally looking to be rain. We go through to 6 o'clock in the morning on Friday, and this is when that cold front is stalling, of course, wet in the south. Notice the hints of pink there through Wales, parts of the Midlands. That could be rain turning to snow on the back edge through Wales and the Midlands at that point. And then we carry on running through, and we find that the front moves southwards and it stalls in the south, so we keep the rain going along the south coast. And there's those hints of pink there across central southern parts of England, just indicating that there could be some sleet or snow developing with this across the moors, southwestern England, some parts of central southern England through the course of Friday afternoon. And then go through to Friday night, that rain finally starts to push away and takes that risk of snow with it. Of course, after that, with the cold air coming in, we'd have the risk of frost. But that's quite interesting what's going on with that on Friday. I'm not sure, not all the models are in agreement with that front story, so it's probably unlikely. We'll probably just get a push of northwesterly, northerly winds through Friday, and not much will happen. But let's just keep an eye on it. because while the GFS is indicating that we have the hints of this stalling front on Friday, we've just got to be a little bit wary of it. Beyond that, it looks like we're going to be in for quite a coolish December, really. We could come out with our first cold of an average month since August, and only the second one this year. So, yeah, all in all, very interesting. It's not a bad start to winter for anybody who likes it cold, really, especially compared to last year. That's it for now. We're looking at the next 10 days in more detail tomorrow. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.